What's going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gents, welcome on back to a brand new LEGO Dimensions video. And I know what you're saying at this point. Hey, Blitz, LEGO Dimensions is dead. LEGO Dimensions is done. Why are you still talking about it? Well, first of all, because we got the official confirmation from them. They actually officially canceled the game, and the writing said Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, TT Games, and the LEGO Group would like to thank fans for their ongoing support of LEGO Dimensions. After careful consideration, we will not be producing new expansion packs for the game beyond what is now available, which of course was, I think, about the time of October 22nd or 23rd or so. That's when they actually announced this. Depends on obviously what region and what country you live in because of time zones. So there you go. But we will continue to provide ongoing server and customer support for all LEGO Dimensions packs. Existing packs will continue to work interchangeably and will remain available for purchase. Now, again, when they say available for purchase, I don't think that that means they're going to manufacture more packs than are already in production. So I think basically what this confirms is that they are not going to be making any new stuff beyond this, which is a little disappointing because, of course, there were those rumors about getting a Lord Vortex figure at some point, and we never actually got that. So that kind of stinks. But there's a lot of other stuff that was potentially canceled and not actually brought into the game. So that is definitely not particularly great. But I guess the good thing is that they will keep the servers on for the foreseeable future, which is great because that means if you buy sets, you'll be able to actually obviously use the packs and download those particular download pieces so that you can go on ahead and play the game properly. Now, from there, I also did want to get into a little bit of a discussion about the Toys to Life market as a whole, because I've been seeing a lot of people online saying, haha, Toys to Life is dead. I knew it'd be dead. They absolutely failed it, and it's a big mess, and it's never been successful, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm not really sure how people measure success. But here's just a little bit of data for you, okay? So Skylanders, for example, was released in 2011, right? And the Skylanders franchise by itself has sold over its existence over $3 billion worth of figurines. That is insane. To me, anybody who says, $3 billion of sales is bad and that's a failure, I have no idea what you're talking about, because to me that sounds pretty darn successful. I do remember specifically reading some articles that pointed to the fact that Disney Infinity also made over $1 billion in sales. So we're talking about just 2 out of the 4 biggest Toys to Life categories, and they've combined made at least $4 billion in sales. That's a lot of sales. So no matter what, has Toys to Life become saturated, and are we not going to get any more of them? That is a very fair argument, because honestly, right now, if we really think about it, I think there's only 2 Toys to Life things that I could think of that are still in existence. I mean, I guess 3 technically. Skylanders hasn't been canceled. They've just been quiet on it. So we don't know if Skylanders, we're going to get another one or not. I'm hopeful we will get another Skylanders game, because primarily due to the fact that if the Netflix show is popular, that will generate more demand for those characters, and then they could make another game. I think that the smart move to go here with Skylanders would be to maybe make it less characters, so don't release quite as many figures or quite as many toys, or if you can, maybe make the figures a little bit smaller, and then that way you could release just as many, but maybe pack 2 characters for the price of 1 character in the past, if that makes any sense. But basically, as I was saying before, there are 3 brands that I could think of right now that are in store shelves. I went to Toys R Us and I was like, okay, let's see what Toys to Life is which ones are still around. Skylanders has a pretty good section in the electronics department. Then we've got this new brand, which is called Lightseekers Awakening. It's interesting because I have heard a lot about it, but I didn't really see it in stores until very recently, and it's very expensive. I think that from what I saw, it has just accessories and weapons and stuff, and those were $35 per weapon or something like that. Now, again, that's Canadian prices, so obviously it might be different in the US or in the UK and Australia and so on and so forth, but that's pretty pricey for what is essentially just an accessory. So that's kind of weird, but I'm not sure if this thing is going to be successful. I guess we're going to find out eventually. Then we have, of course, Skylanders, which we don't know if Skylanders is going to continue or not, so we'll see. And then last but certainly not least, one that is very, very successful and many people don't even talk about, and again has made over $1 billion in sales, is Amiibos. Because hey, they're also part of that Toys to Life craze. They came out as kind of a counterpunch to Skylanders and have stuck around. I mean, in fact, we've gotten some Nintendo characters in the Switch version of Superchargers, if you remember, which was a Skylanders game. So that's pretty cool that we still have those three big names around in this category. Now, on top of that, of course, there have been a lot of, not failed, but a lot of closed down Toys to Life categories, like Lego Dimensions now, of course, is official. There were those Sick Bricks, remember, which was that iPad game. I think it was Spin Master. So that was one of them. Then there was Disney Infinity, of course. And then the other one that I could think of is the Playmation ones, remember? So those are kind of the big ones that I could think of that are no longer around. Any other ones, I'm not too particularly certain about that. But basically, to me, I think that if you look at the stats and if you look at the fact that Skylanders started in 2011, right? And it's still not canceled. So the Toys to Life market had about, a 6-year shelf life, or let's say 5-year, because last year that's when things started slowing down. And in my mind, I mean, for something that is a very specific niche kind of category in the game industry, I think that that's a pretty reasonable kind of lifespan for something like that to have. I mean, like, look, prior to this, we had a huge surplus and boom of FPS games, right? And that was the focus of the game industry. Then now we had open world games, right? And I just think that everything is cyclical. Like, I think the best comparison between Toys to Life and another genre in the video game genre as a whole is probably like the Guitar Hero and those music games, because those were popular from, I think, about 2006, I want to say, maybe something like that, till about 2011 or 2010 or somewhere in there. So they had about a 4 to 5 year lifespan, and then they were gone. We didn't get those games for a little while. And then remember, a year or two ago, boom, they came back, and we had another iteration of Rock Band, another iteration of Guitar Hero, which was, I think, called Guitar Hero Live or something like that. And there's been a few other kind of rhythm games and music games released since. So are they nearly as popular as they used to be? No, but they did come back, which is why I think there is still a chance for some company down the line to maybe optimize this business model and maybe release less figures, maybe, or in some way lower the entry cost or participation cost in playing these games, because it does add up and becomes very expensive. If you're playing the Toys to Life games, you have to pick one. You cannot be playing all of them because it's just simply too pricey. You can't be playing Lego Dimensions and Skylanders and, let's say, Disney Infinity and be a completionist on all of those, because it's just too pricey to have all of those different characters in all of those different worlds. Of course, you could nitpick, like pick one character here, one character there, and then you could play all of those games at once. However, if you're a completionist or if you're trying to get as close to completion as possible, that becomes very pricey. So I think that in the future, maybe if they could figure out a way to make it more affordable and give even more value per pack, so maybe include, I don't know, vehicle and character for the price of what we would pay for just character, and so on and so forth. The one other thing that I think a lot of people kind of forget always with the Toys to Life category, though, is the fact that it does come with a toy as well, like a figurine, where if you look at a lot of other prices, like when you go to the store and you buy figures, and some of these figures are so well painted and so well done up that you're like, oh, okay, well, I have to remember that a lot of the reason why these things are expensive is because of the toy itself. It's not necessarily the digital content, because, of course, the digital content is pretty much decided by the company. Like, hey, we think that the content of this character is worth, or every character is worth $3. Then the expense of creating the figure is another, I don't know, $4 or $5. And then packaging, logistics, delivery, all of that combined is probably another $2 or $3. And then the rest of that is our profit margin. So that's kind of the way I guess they look at it. And that's how those costs have risen, as we saw with Skylanders and any of the other franchises. They started at a certain cost, and then of course the most recent iterations were quite a bit pricier. But nevertheless, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's quick little discussion video. I just wanted to kind of rant a little bit, I guess, about the fact that I don't think that the Toys to Life category was a failure. I think that it's not a failure if you still look at the fact that Amiibo is successful, and the fact that, like, for example, just today, actually, right as I'm recording this, the Amiibos for Breath of the Wild went live, like the different Guardians that help you in the game, and those sold out immediately. So obviously there's still a demand, there's still a need or a demand for this particular idea of having figurines and digital content. Of course, you could make the argument that many people buy Amiibos just purely for the figurines. They couldn't care less about the digital content, which is kind of interesting that the Amiibos, in my opinion, personally, give you the least amount of value out of any of the Toys to Life categories as far as digital stuff is concerned. Like, most of the stuff that Amiibos do is quite minor. I think that the best implementation of Amiibo was probably either in Zelda Breath of the Wild, which was cool because it would give you chests with loot, which was awesome, or Super Smash Bros. Or Smash Brothers Wii U, because that one had really cool ideas of battling your Amiibo and such. So that was really quite cool as well. But other than that, most of the time Amiibos are kind of like, hey, here you go, you get like a character hat or something like that. So it's very minor stuff, but because people are fans of the designs of the characters, they continue to purchase the Amiibos, which is kind of an interesting idea, that maybe if they made these Toys to Life, if they made us care even more about the characters, we would be more likely to purchase the toys just for the toys themselves. So that's an interesting little discussion to get going. But let me know down in the comment section below, why were you buying, or why are you buying Toys to Life figurines? Are you buying them purely for the figures? Are you buying them purely for the gameplay? Or is it a combination of the two? For me, I would say it's a combination for the two, or of the two elements. But let me know. I would love to hear from you guys as far as what is your opinion on the matter. Thank you guys so very much for watching today's video. I will hopefully catch you guys here next time. Peace out. I'll see you later, alligators.